This week we are looking at the 5 different types of reactions that we learned last week. This worksheet kind of lays out all the 5 from synthesis, has 3 types of synthesis reactions, 3 decomposition, 3 single replacements, 3 double, and then 2 combustion reactions down at the bottom. I'm going to do one example from each of the 5 different types of reactions, and then you are going to be responsible with finishing the worksheet and turning it in this week. So just to let you know that I'm going to be looking at this cheat sheet, referring back to it. It kind of goes in the same order as the worksheet that we're working on. So when I get to those, we'll be kind of referring back to this. If you could have this sheet printed out, that'd be awesome. If not, if you could be looking at it while you're doing the worksheet, it'd be very, very helpful. So let's get rolling. The first one is sodium iodide. What we want to do is write the equation out in symbols. I'm not really worried about the word equation, so you can kind of skip that part. So sodium is Na, iodine is I. You do need to remember Brinkelhoff, bromine, iodine, nitrogen, chlorine, hydrogen, oxygen, and fluorine. Is sodium or iodine diatomic? Iodine is. So therefore, since it is alone, I'm going to put I2. So sodium plus iodine, and this is a synthesis reaction. So a synthesis reaction is going to take the 2 elements and combine them together. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here, is we're going to take sodium and iodine and make it a compound. So sodium is Na, iodine's I. Sodium's charge is group 1, is positive 1. Iodine's group 17 is negative 1. So therefore the charges balance out. Otherwise we would need subscripts down below here. But in this case we don't need subscripts because positive 1 and negative 1 cancel. Last thing to do is to balance it. So I will need coefficients. If you're looking here, we have 1 Na, over here is 1 Na. Over here we have 2 iodines, over here we only have 1 iodine. How do I get 2 iodines? I need to change this coefficient to a 2. Now I have 2 iodines on both sides, but now the sodiums are not balanced. Since I have 2 Nas and 2 Is over here in the products, I have 2 Is, but I do not have 2 sodiums. So therefore I need to put a 2 in front of this one. And it becomes 2, 1, 2 as the coefficients. And that is number 1. We're not going to get too in-depth, being that we're doing remote learning. I'm not going to worry about the all take place. Just when you do the synthesis, combine them together and balance them when we're good there, especially on the ones down below here. This worksheet has a lot of great information, but online learning, I don't want to take up too much of your time trying to learn all that. So next we're going to go on to an example of decomposition. If you are looking at the cheat sheet here, there is 6 rules under decomposition. And these rules will help you determine how it breaks apart. So looking at number 1 here, we have nickel 2 chlorate. So if you look at your 6 rules, what one would nickel 2 chlorate fall under? If you look closely here, it's rule number 3, metallic chlorate. We start with nickel 2 chlorate. So I'm going to put a number 3 over here just to let you know that we're going to be following rule number 3 for this decomposition. We're going to follow rule 3 here. So I'm going to just kind of put this down below here. So looking at rule 3 for question number 4, nickel is the metallic. So this is metallic chlorate. This is nickel chlorate. So we're going to have nickel chloride is going to be the first product. I'm using the rule here on the cheat sheet to determine how it breaks apart. So it's nickel chloride. And nickel had a positive 2 charge, so it's still going to have the same charge here. So when I form nickel 2 chloride, I do have to balance the charges. Nickel's positive 2, chlorine's negative 1, so it's NiCl2. Going down here to rule 3, we have the nickel 2 chloride and then O2. So the other product here is O2. Oops, I should have wrote the nickel 2 chlorate here. Chlorate is ClO3. Oops. I believe it is a -1 charge, so I'm going to need that out front. Got a little off here, but it's fine. So decomposition, you will always use one of the 6 rules here from down below. In this case, I'm using rule 3 because I started with nickel chlorate and I have metallic chlorate for rule 3. If you look at question number 5, barium carbonate, you're going to start with rule number 1 on this to determine how it breaks down. We just have to balance this up here for question number 4. And it looks like the nickels are good. Chlorines, we have 2 of them. We have 2 here. Oxygen, we have 3 times 2 is 6. To get 6 oxygen over here, we need to put a 3 there. So it's 3 times 2 is 6. So nickels are balanced, chlorines are balanced, and oxygens are balanced with 6 on each side. So these just become 1 coefficients there. So that is it for number 4. So decomposition, you are going to follow one of these rules down below. I'm going to cut the video off and I'll let you finish up the other questions 2 and 3 and 5 and 6, and then I'll do another video for the remainder of them.